Hello and welcome to Teic.ie. This is our video review of the HTC Hero. I've already given an outline of what the phone can do in the first impression, so I'll get right to it in terms of listing off the pros and cons of the phone. First things first, we'll just talk about how it looks. As you can see, it's got a kind of shiny white metallic kind of body to it, large touchscreen and so on, and an odd curve towards the bottom, which is a little bit unusual. Doesn't seem to be there for any real reason other than to look nice, and it does look quite nice, I have to say. It also fits quite well in the pocket, easy to hold, all that other kind of stuff. So physically, it's a very nice phone. Touchscreen as well, most importantly because it's a touch-based phone, is very, very responsive. It's capacitive, and it's probably the best touchscreen that I've used, bar the iPhone. In fact, I'd probably say it's as good as the iPhone's touchscreen in terms of how responsive it is. You don't have to press down on it or anything like that, and it kind of responds to the lightest touch that you can make in it. So really, really responsive, just what you'd want from a touchscreen. The Android operating system, it's running Android, Google's operating system for phones, with a HTC front end on it. So you can see there this kind of menu system. You have 7 different windows that you can put different widgets in. That's HTC's own spin on Android, although once you get into the main menu it looks much the same as other Android phones. I have to say Android is a really, really good operating system, and very, very intuitive, makes perfect sense, no problem getting around whatsoever. One thing I just want to point out that I really like about Android is the little notification bar across the top. As you can see at the moment there, it has just the normal phone things like your reception, your battery life, alarm, the clock, all that kind of stuff. But when you get texts or tweets, you also get a little symbol up in the top to let you know that you have those. And then to jump to those, you don't have to worry about going through the menu. You just drag down the bar and you can go straight in to, there's no notifications there at the moment, but they'd list down, so email or text or whatever the case may be, and then to get rid of that you just flick back up and you're back at the main menu, so you don't have to go rooting through your inbox or any of that kind of stuff. So yeah, I really, really like those kind of features that they put on, and it works really, really well. As well as that, another good feature of being part of the Android operating system is the marketplace, which you can see the icon for there. It's basically the Google App Store. Now, the one downside at the moment is that there's no premium apps available in Ireland, just free apps. So it's kind of limited in what you can do. But there are some really nice free ones out there, particularly ones Google make. One that HTC have showed off a lot is the Google Sky Maps, which I won't fire up at the moment. It takes a little bit to actually start up. But it's GPS based, and you point it around and it'll show you what stars are in that direction and stuff like that. So some nice free apps out there, and hopefully the premium apps will come soon enough. And another really nice thing about the phone, it's kind of become a standard with Android phones, the physical buttons. So you have this search button down here, you can just see, and when you press that, it's kind of a contextual search. So it's just a general search there, but if I go into my calendar, for example, and I hit the search bar again, it will search the calendar only. If I do it in messages, it'll just search there. So it's contextual, so depending on what application you're opening in, you can search, or you can search the whole phone. Really, really handy kind of thing, and perfect for what Google do. Other short key buttons as well. You have a home button and a menu button, which brings up kind of the background of settings. Can be a little bit getting used to, because sometimes the features that would normally be easy to find on a phone are hidden and you press the menu button to get to your settings and stuff like that. But once you get used to it, it makes a lot of sense. Okay, now on the downside of things, just some of the bad things about it. Firstly, this is a little bit getting used to. The hang up button on most phones is usually doubles up as a back button. So when you're in the menu and you press the hang up button, it brings you back to your main screen. On the HTC Hero, the hang up button is also the lock button. So you press it and you lock the screen. So often you just mean to navigate back to your main menu, and you'll hit that, when in reality there's a dedicated back button just down here beside the search button. That can take a bit getting used to. It's a little bit jarring. So instead, when you're in menu, you press that, whereas if you go into the menu and press that, you just lock the screen. So that can take a little bit getting used to. Another thing, the headphone jack. It's a regular 3.5mm headphone jack, which you can just see at the top there. I have found though that a lot of regular headphones don't seem to fit it properly, or else you just get one ear or nothing at all. it doesn't seem to be anything to do with just randomly some will work, some won't work, which is a little bit annoying. I don't know if it's because of the way it's, you might be able to see there, it's kind of on a curve, or I don't know what the reason is, but anyway, it is a slight problem and a bit of an annoyance. And then there's the proximity sensor, which might seem like a minor thing to some people, but this kind of bugged me a little bit. Most touchscreen phones have what's called a proximity sensor, usually up beside the earpiece, and what that does is it detects when the phone is at your ear, basically, when you during a call, is one of the features of it anyway. And it then switches off the touchscreen, blanks it, so it's mainly there so you don't hit any buttons with the side of your face by accident. The Hero doesn't seem to have this feature, and it basically means that the screen just goes blank itself after a few seconds into a call. Not a major problem, but when you take the phone away from your face, it means that the screen stays dark, whereas on other phones it would detect that you've moved it away and would reactivate the screen. So say if you want to during a call search your phone for a contact, or answer another call or something like that, it's not really clear then when you take it away, because there's nothing on the screen. You're afraid to press any of the buttons because you don't want to hang up on the call you're on, or whatever the case may be. So it's just a minor thing, but it is a little bit of a bugbear for me, because it's usually quite simple to fit one little small one in there. There is a light sensor in there which changes the screen contrast, but no proximity sensor, excuse me. And then one other issue I had was with the Bluetooth. You can see there's a widget here for Wi-Fi and one for Bluetooth there. Very easy, you just click them, switch them on or off. I couldn't find a way without going into the settings to scan for devices though, which meant a little bit messy, and you'd really like that if you tap on that it brings it into the Bluetooth app, but it doesn't, it just switches it on or off. But another thing that really annoyed me was when you leave the Bluetooth switched on, and say you have the phone paired with a headset, it will automatically, when you're out of range, you're no longer connected to the headset, it will keep coming up on the screen, Bluetooth headset disconnected, and it comes up and disappears and comes up and disappears. It just keeps coming on, and the only way you can get rid of that is switching the Bluetooth off altogether. For me it seems a bit silly, because what I like to do is I'd leave the Bluetooth switched on the phone all the time and switch the headset off when I say if you have it in the car, leave it in the car switched off. And then you're wandering around and the phone just keeps telling you that the Bluetooth headset is disconnected, when it maybe should just tell you that once and be done with it. So you kind of notice that the main problems I have are kind of little small bugbears really. The headphones one is probably the one that's the most practical in terms of the one that's going to annoy you the most. The other ones are little tiny things that kind of get in the way, or maybe a bit unusual. And to that end, I have to say that there are no major complaints that I have with the HTC Hero. I think it is a really, really, really nice phone. Once you get used to some of its quirks, and there aren't many and they're not major, I think you really enjoy it. Is it as good as the iPhone? Probably not, but it's very, very close second, I think. And I think HTC are really onto something. So are Google with the Android OS. I think it's a really, really nice system. And I'd imagine Android 2.0, which is on the way, the next version of it, will probably be even better, and it'll really, really give Apple a run for its money. The HTC Hero is available on the Meteor network in Ireland at the moment. You can get it from about €100 on bill pay, or about €390 on pay as you go. That's obviously a sizable enough amount of money, although it is cheaper pay as you go than the iPhone is pay as you go. What I would say, just like the iPhone, I'd question whether it'd be worth your while getting a phone like this on pay as you go, purely because so many of the features on it, such as your Google Maps, email integration, internet browser, all that kind of stuff built into it, really needs an internet connection and some kind of data package in order to make it worth your while. Otherwise you're relying on Wi-Fi, or else you're going to be paying through the nose in terms of the credit you're using up to connect. So I would question the logic of going pay as you go, but obviously some people don't have the choice. What I would say is, if you're on a bill pay and you have some kind of data package with this phone, there's so many things you can do with it, just like with the iPhone, that you'll probably be kept busy for a long, long time. As I said, overall, I'd certainly recommend it as a very, very strong alternative to Apple's iPhone. So that's all from Teic.ie. Stay tuned to the website for more reviews and news and so on in the coming weeks.